What I guess what I'll do is I'll end up kind of doing like a intro, and then and then I'll introduce you, and then you'll be welcomed into the club.
The Heavy Bangs family. I'm the
Into the Heavy Bangs. This is you're the first guest. This is a very
exciting.
big deal. This
I've
is
actually been really
very
excited
big
about
deal.
you being on this show.
I am too. I am very excited as well. I can't believe this even worked out. So this is
awesome.
just a joy. This is joy. Here we go. Let's get it on. Oh, we got a special day today. This is a special day. Gosh, we have a special day today, don't we, Mischa?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's
very
a
special.
welcome all you heavy bangers. Golly, thank you for listening. What do you have to say
What do I have to say, or what do the heavy,
about how
heavy
big of a
bangers
day?
have to say?
All of them. It's such a special day.
Well, it's a very special day. We have our first.
We have our first guest today on Heavy Bangs, and I'll get to that in a moment. But what I do want to say now is that I couldn't be happier to have you all here. And here's one thing I do want to say. I love all my American listeners, all of our American listeners. But one thing I do want to say is shouts out to all of our French listeners. Yes, I see you out there. Our French listener. It's a single, but it's so well appreciated.
We have one French listener who has been very loyal.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
And I just want to let you know that I see you and I respect you and would love to be inside of your country soon.
And merci.
Yes, Mischa speaks Francais, so that's another...
listening to le podcast.
Oui. So yes, shouts out to you guys. Also in Germany, don't think that you're not going unseen. Much respect to you Germans. Thank you for listening. And Americans, thank you for just being in the country and just being free.
Can we there's 2 German listeners.
There's
right?
2 to 3. It kind of fluctuates.
Okay.
Little fluctuation going on over in Germany, which is good.
I just want to be specific because I want those 2 Germans to know that Dankeschön. And that's German for you. Mischa also speaks German a little bit, so she's really cultured. She's very cultured all around. She's like milk in that way, cultured, or yogurt, I guess, really. So you guys, we have a very big day today. Let's just kind of get right into it. Excuse me, I don't mean to do that right into the intro, but this next guest is, I guess you could say he's really an American hero, and he's a guy that you will need eventually in your life for many reasons. And he's a beautiful man as well. And he's very physically in shape. Very in shape.
He's, I guess you could even say he's a little bit of an adventurist. But I don't even want to give any away too much to detail. What is that exactly? Because this guy is... I couldn't be happier to have him. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up. We have Bryon McMurtrey, who is an American plumber on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Bryon.
No problem. It's my pleasure.
This is a pleasure that is all mine, and Mischa's as well.
I was about to clap the way you introduced
Well, we can give him a clap.
Okay. Does that hurt the ears?
Not
fine?
at all.
Okay.
I think if anything, the listeners are going to clap along as well.
Mm-hmm. Welcome.
Thank you for being on the show.
You.
Bryon.
Thanks for having me.
Right out of the gate, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good.
That's great. I love it. He's feeling great. Mischa, how are you feeling as well?
Oh, I'm good. I've actually really been looking forward to this morning.
This is a really great episode. So, episode kind of, and I'm speaking in the before time, I guess it's a really great episode. It hasn't even happened is what I'm saying. This will be a really great episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes. So, kind of getting right into it. What is it like being inside of your body?
It's really nice.
It is.
Yeah. I hang out here all the time.
Oh, you're there all the time.
I'm there all the time.
I love that. Okay. Well, that's really great. So, how
So how long have you been in the world of plumbing? And be honest. Don't lie to me. Don't try to put up a front about like how much. Maybe it's more, but just be honest.
It's
if you
like
think
20 years.
20 years. That's a long time to be in a field, and that's it. At that point, you're really a professional.
I like to think so.
I love that. So like when is this like something that is this like freelance kind of thing? Like, are you your own individual? Like, or are you working for?
No, I work for the Plumers Union up in Seattle.
Plumbers Union in Seattle. So there's a Plumbers Union.
It is actually a union.
Yes.
Okay.
And working for a union has got to be good, right?
They say it's
the best.
It's been
takes
really
care
good.
of you.
They have been taking care of me and my family very well.
That's really great. So you do have you have a family.
I do have a family.
So what is it like, I guess, being, so how large is your family?
I have just one wife.
I'm not asking a weight question. I'm just mean like
We're all
how many
pretty
of
in
them?
shape.
I would imagine if they're similar to, if coming from a plumber family, you must have good physical characteristics as well.
Not a lot of plumbers are in shape.
Is that
You
really
know,
true?
Kind of a thing.
Yeah. So there's that whole like the plumber butt crack thing.
Yeah.
Is it based on truth?
It's
Where do you
based
think
on a
it
lot
came
of
from?
truth. I've worked with a bunch of guys that
Is
pull
it
that off very well.
Is that something that you kind of have to do to kind of let people know that you are a plumber?
I don't personally know.
You
but
keep yours locked up.
I keep mine pretty locked up.
Yeah, that's
I've
smart.
seen-
I guess it's kind of better that way. It's like, well, it keeps it a little bit more secretive, a little more like a little more secrecy to it. Kind of like this is mine, not yours. And if you
Leaves
want
a little something to the imagination.
I think that's
Very
where I
good.
was trying to go with it. I was having a hard time formulating the words.
In Southern California, we have an individual called Mike Diamond, the smell good plumber.
Is that real?
Yeah, haven't you heard all of the commercials?
Mike Diamond.
Mike Diamond,
yes,
the smell
Mike
good
Diamond.
plumber.
Yes.
And the main, I feel like and this is like, there's many locations in Southern California, and what they seem to really be selling is smell good first, and then maybe like professionalism second. But they really push the smell good thing. They said that their plumbers.
I need you to
Plumbers.
there it is. But I've been having the same thing, so I can't even be really one to.
It is
tease you for
a hard word. Their plumbers will show up to your home smelling good.
Like, do they wear a lot of cologne or?
That's what
what's
I've
the
never.
deal?
We don't have our plumber's name is
wonder.
Jesse, and
Jesse, and
actually
shouts to
Jesse and
Jesse.
Jesse.
Jesse and
It's-
Jesse.
It's a father and a son. They're delightful individuals.
Call him Jesse Squared.
They have nothing to do with Mike Diamond.
Fantastic.
But they're probably competing a little bit with Mike Diamond.
I'm sure.
I mean, they're probably a little more smaller business.
But I don't know.
Not if they don't smell good.
You'd hope, but Jesse, you know,
They always
I've never,
smell.
they've never not
decent.
smelled bad.
Yeah,
They've never smelled bad, is what I meant to say.
right.
Yeah, I'm always feeling pretty good about how they smell.
But
what
so
about
the Mike
Di-
Diamond,
yeah.
I don't know. I wonder the same thing. Like, is it cologne?
Is that
What are
something that
they
they teach
smelling
you when you're in the plumbing union? Is it like, hey, make sure you guys are kind of working around some mess, make sure and smell good for the customer. I mean, because you come off to me as someone who already is going to smell good, and I don't mean.
Well, I don't work with mess.
You don't work with
necessarily.
mess.
No, I put in all of the new stuff.
Okay.
Oh
So
my
You-
god!
can I just-
new buildings and
This is
lay the pipe.
lay
I lay
the
the
pipe, and we really like to keep this clean on the podcast if we can. But so interesting. So you're not even working with the mess.
no.
You're working in a whole different kind of bracket of plumbing. No?
Yes.
What is it got to be? Did you not specifically want to work with the mess?
Specifically, I've done it.
You've worked with mess before.
I have. Not enjoyable. It's
I
not
wouldn't imagine it would be good.
any kind of thing that I want to do.
So
But you paid your dues.
I've paid my dues.
is that kind of what you have to do? You have to work with mess before you can work with laying new pipe.
Not necessarily. I mean, you can stay in the service industry And
Is that what we call it?
that's what we call it. And they go around providing services for people that need plumbing services.
Gotcha. Kind of like what Jesse's
I've chosen to go the new construction route where I show up at a freshly built building and
there's been no mess
and I lay
laid
the
inside
pipe.
at all.
Right.
And you lay the pipe. Now, are other people, are they okay with you kind of laying the pipe down there while they're getting their work done? And
yes,
they're fine? They're fine with it.
they're perfectly fine with it.
Okay, that's good.
And
They,
do
in fact, they
people
enjoy it. I get to lay the pipe first,
Got it.
and
So
then they come in,
come
from
through after
behind.
you.
Yeah.
Got it. So got it. So you're kind of making, you're kind of forging the way, so to speak,
Right.
for them to kind of come through and have their way with it and finish the job.
Breaking the hymen as you would. We talked about in the previous.
I've
episode.
talked about it in previous episodes. You're a fan of the podcast. Thank you so much
I
for
am.
yes. So it's, I guess you're kind of like the hymen breaker of the construction business.
Correct.
Wow. That's a very sheer business.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really cool how that came around full circle. I was not expecting that to happen. That's really great. Wow. I had, I didn't know.
Your mind is blown.
I didn't think about it. Yeah. It doesn't always have to be mass.
But you still probably know anything you would need to know to deal with the mess.
Yes. Yes, I do. I've done. I've especially for friends and family. I
Taking care of their
take
mess.
care of their messes.
You
Well,
probably
that's-
take care of your own plumbing. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, of course.
You have to, right? You don't
But
really.
it's kind of like an auto mechanic, right? That has a bunch of broke down cars in their yard. When I get home from work, I don't want to work.
Right. You just
Right.
hire a guy,
So
and then that guy will have his ass out.
hopefully,
Hopefully, I would hope so. Yeah.
Drano, yes or no?
Oh,
that's a big time negative.
Negative.
That's a
That
no?
is
Really?
horrible for your plumbing system.
Really?
Hold on
Yeah.
a second. Hold the phone or just the drain, because my God, are you kidding? I had no idea.
Yeah, and they keep coming out with like
More.
Drano Extreme or like the higher potency.
I saw a Drano that was even for like specifically music festivals. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
coming out with the craziest types.
And it can potentially like melt your pipes. It can cause way more damage. It's not good for the plumbing system. It's not good for the water treatment centers. Like, it's just not good.
That's
They
crazy.
say it's safe, but it's
It's
good for
really
your system.
not.
But don't use
Especially in a septic system. Yeah, no.
No kidding.
it. What do you reckon we're on here? Well, sewage.
You're on the city sewer. out
City,
here.
right.
City
right.
sewer.
I knew that.
What are we supposed to use instead of Drano? What is the thing to use?
Like, you would need to have a professional come out and
I would have to and
snake
then
the line with
you would need
with
the
a
snake.
tool.
the snake
And that's probably the best way to go.
is just snaking it.
Um,
And that's really with anything when it comes to cleaning kind of anything. You really kind of have to snake it, whether it's your pipes, whether it's like your insides, if your intestines, sometimes you have to snake stuff up through the back end to kind of, what do they call it?
enema?
Enema.
Like an enema.
Mhm.
So you guys are basically giving enemas to a lot of household sinks and stuff like that.
Well, the Drano seems almost more like the enema, but in a bad way.
Well, don't you think the snake is kind of the enema because it's going into finding it and biting it down and then you pull the snake out?
Well, I don't know if there's an enema that is an actual, like an object that you reach in and pull out.
So the enema is the act of. Or are
Well-
you saying it's an object?
An enema usually is like something. I think you can drink an enema, right? Or no.
You're thinking
No,
of
no.
laxative.
No, that's a laxative, right? Okay, so the enema isn't it like a capsule like thing?
That is a suppository.
Okay, so what's an enema?
Okay, so
You know a lot about stuff that goes in the back door.
I've just realized that I know a lot about the anal cavities right now.
Okay.
And here's what I will say. A suppository is something that you just put up there and you let be and it does its own thing and you just hold on. So whatever is in that suppository is what you will end up having inside of your body and happening in your mind. The next thing is you're thinking of a laxative.
Okay, right. I knew where I messed up.
Laxative is where you take something upstairs and you let it flush out through the basement. And that just kind of is a clear the system. There's also going to be a douche. And it's actually a type of person, and it is in fact a thing that you put up there as well. And what it does is a thing comes out and sprays soap and water and gives you a scrub, and you pull it out and then you're clean. And an enema basically is something that you put inside of there to find stuff, and it bites on things and drags them out. So that's basically kind of those are the 4 or 5 different anal activities that you can do.
Thank you.
So what I'm saying is that the drain and the snake would most likely, it would be more comparable to an enema.
Okay.
Something going in to try to find something to then bite it to bring it out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, just fascinating tools.
Bryon did some reading about plumbing before you had come over, and because first of all, gosh, you got a
little something in your throat.
Got a little something. Okay, it's gone. I think we take plumbing for granted, right? Like we don't we don't think about how incredible it is that we have plumbing. And I was looking at some of the history going back, because chamber pots.
What are chamber pots?
So chamber pot is just like a bucket or a pot
that you make a mess
in your home, and then take it out later.
So that's kind of the original way to go to bathroom.
Well, I don't know if it's the original way. By the way, Bryon, he says go to bathroom. What do you feel about that? He doesn't say go to the bathroom.
Well, how do you say? Hold on a second.
Go to the bathroom. I think you're missing like half of a sentence.
Well, no, hold on a second, because I say it. No, it's about it's a preference. How do you say it? When you have to.
I need to go to the bathroom.
I need to go to the bathroom. I need to go to the.
And
bathroom.
you say what, Lance?
I got to go to bathroom.
You asked me earlier if I needed to go to bathroom.
Look, I was trying to be a good guest. Okay, look, I feel like people are jumping on my case. This is the first guest of the podcast, and he's roasting me. So, look, it's just how I say it. Here is what I will say for all of our listeners. I would be curious to know as to how you say it your own self. So if you could write into the Heavy Bangs podcast, you can visit heavybangspodcast.com. You're free to contact us on the contact page and write us and let us know how you say it. Because here's what I will say. I think there's more people saying it the way that I say it than you give credit for.
No.
And you will come to find out when we see all these emails come in, they will be flooding in, because now our listeners are up to, I think we're at 27 listeners, which is a lot. And that's way more than it was 2 weeks ago, even far more than it was a month ago.
I'll give you that there are people who do say go to bathroom, and that they're probably around the ages of how old? When do kids start talking? 7. 7. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I know that you don't mean disrespect, but I took that as complete disrespect. And it's just, first of all, I was an educated man. Okay. I first of all graduated high school. Mm-hmm. I didn't do well on the Washington State assessment test, but that was for other reasons. And this is how I grew up in Spokane. I was near a lot of trees and wood people. So this is kind of, it's the vernacular in which we use. And that is what I will say. If you grow up in Eastern Washington, you say go to bathroom. You say go to bathroom.
Where did you grow
Bryon,
up?
where did you grow up? Where did you grow up? You're living in the Seattle area.
I grew up in Eastern Washington.
You know shit. You grew up in Eastern Washington. So so
and yet he says go to the bathroom.
See, I feel like that just comes down to different parenting. That's all it does. It's just a different parent raising a different child a different way than the other parent is raising their own. And first of all, there's nothing wrong with me saying it, go to bathroom.
No one.
It's less words. It's less words. It's to the point more. So if someone were to say, here's a situation: someone was just hit by a car, and the neighbor came out, and the neighbor saw the other neighbor who saw the whole thing go down, and was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And the neighbor was like, "Oh gosh, well, this is Stacy. She was walking her groceries. She would walk to Trader Joe's, was walking her groceries across the street. She lives actually right around the block. And she was going to walk across the street. She didn't even look both ways. And this asshole was texting and driving when he took the corner around Tommy's and floored it up the street. Didn't even see her, freaking nicked her right in the leg, knocked her down. Okay. Or someone could say the neighbor comes out and sees the neighbor who saw the whole thing goes down and goes, oh, what happened? Stacy got hit by the car.
You just said the.
Stacy got hit by a car.
It
Stacy got
sounds
hit by a
like
car.
This person who says go to bathroom and hit by car would say she was at store. She crossed street. He didn't see.
If anything, what I'm realizing more than anything in this moment here and now is that the isn't even it's not even necessary. It's not even a word that needs to be used. The is, it can come and go. It can come or go, which is, it's a whole other thing.
So is it true that in medieval times, people used to throw their excrement into the streets?
And define excrement for people who don't know what that is for the listeners, excrement. Because it's a big word.
Urine and feces. Is excrement anything else?
Mess.
Could it be vomit? Probably. I guess just
Yeah. I think if it involves any sort of unclear liquid coming out of your body is excrement.
So my understanding is that they did used to throw it out into the streets and it would wash down, and that's kind of how like the Black Plague started.
All that
disease
feces in the air and in the water.
Just kind of everywhere.
Wow. So the Black Plague was more of a brown plague.
I think there's more to it, but I think that had something to do
But that's kind of the general kind of consensus of it all.
Or brown and yellow.
Brown and yellow plague. Which
if you
really
mix
kind of
the
makes a
two-
very light brown, actually. When you mix brown and yellow together, it makes a very, very light brown. Almost
You're
kind
the
of,
painter.
because I do a lot of painting.
Yeah.
So, wow. So I didn't even know that. So that's where the Black Plague came from, is from people making mess.
It might also be in corrections, but I'm pretty sure.
I believe you, though.
Yeah,
I believe you. You're a
Well-
professional. I'm going to believe the professional before I believe anybody else.
And it
Also-
seems like all of that like you said, just everywhere, it's going to be a problem. But I'm sorry, you said.
Oh, and then I think that's kind of how they decided they needed to redirect it certain ways.
And start having some
Some
actual
sort of system
plumbing.
for the plumbing to go
Right.
Right.
other places.
Well, there's a lot of well, that makes me kind of nervous about what's to come for this city, because there's a lot of excrement on the road. I was driving my car. I was driving to do some comedy. Okay. And this is a couple days ago. This was day before yesterday. And I went up. I didn't go well. I didn't have a great set, but that's not the point. The point is, when I was on my way to do that set, I saw some guy, and he was making bowel movement right on the side of the road. And that's just going to wash. We're going to have ourselves another brown plague in freaking no time. Right?
I hope not.
That's probably how it will start, though, is what I'm thinking. Don't you?
There are a lot of people using the facilities on the side of the streets these days.
Yeah. With like the side of the street for like using the bathroom. Or do you mean like using the porta potties?
I mean, they just
go on the side.
go.
They just go wherever they need to go. And here's the thing that I'll say. There have been times where I've needed to go my own self. And I've just gone right outside. I've just had to go outside. And I feel bad about that, speaking about that on the podcast.
Urine or?
Well, that's personal.
Okay.
It's very personal.
It makes a difference.
Well, I know. Well, sure, of course, it makes a difference. But for for the listeners, the answer was that it was a number one. I went number one. I don't know that I would go number two outside unless I could. I would need to bury it in the ground afterward, just because I'm a respectable person. That's how I grew. That's how I was raised. If you're going to go number two outside, then you need to make sure and bury it 6 inches below the surface of the soil.
Well, now we have that little shovel.
And that is great. But I really wish that they had some sort of accessory for the iPhone that would be able to it could clip to the iPhone, because then I wouldn't have to carry that shovel around. And I could just simply use the iPhone. Maybe it would fold out of the iPhone,
and I could grab the iPhone, and then the metal part would be kind of the scoop. And then I could use it at night because the iPhone has the light.
With the light.
So I could do it with a light. I don't know. So anybody who's kind of a entrepreneur or somebody who's wanting to kind of come up with new business ideas, agendas, this is a really great idea to jump on. I haven't done anything with it, and I'll let you have it.
Question maybe that I should know, but what is a P-trap?
A P-trap is, there's the little U-shaped piping underneath your sinks. There's also
one in the bathroom.
There's one in the kitchen.
In the kitchen?
In the bathroom. They're on every fixture. So there's one.
And by fixture, you mean piece of pipe.
A fixture would be like your kitchen sink, your toilet, an accessory shower.
It's like an accessory almost.
It's like where the water is going to come out of.
Where the water is going to come out of. So what the P-trap does is it's a U-shaped piece of pipe, and water sits in that U shape, and it prevents sewer gases from coming up through the sewer and then up through into your sink.
Genius.
So it traps the gases.
Because
there are gases coming at it from both ends. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So it's here, and because there's water here, these gases can't get in.
Correct.
It's like a water door.
Sometimes when it seems like there is a long-lasting aroma.
Are you speaking personally? What's happening?
Just in a bathroom. It could be public or it could be a residential.
Okay. So you're not speaking on behalf of ours?
No.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Is that possibly because there's something wrong with the P-trap, that sewage is coming up? Or is that just probably something that's like wrong with like the ground? Because in downtown, like downtown Burbank, probably downtown LA.
Downtown LA is probably
it
even
smells
worse.
like a constant sewage.
Or is that just from all the mess on the outside of the street?
I don't really know the answer. There's venting that goes up through your roof also, and that doesn't have the P-trap. That stuff's connected kind of to the sewer lines, and that allows for water pressure. It's how your toilet flushes because of the atmospheric pressure.
Right.
It's a whole science that I don't know if we have time to get into.
Here's
the
one thing
science
that I want to say on regard to the science that we just talked about. There was once, and this is probably 4 years ago, and I don't mean to date myself, but Mischa and I were in our place, and she went to go to. Were you going number 1 or number 2? Well, you were sitting down regardless, so she was going to sit down using the bathroom, and as soon as she sat down, she started screaming.
No, I never sat down.
Okay, well, all I know is you went to go to the bathroom and then you started screaming. And I didn't know what it was, and I ended up coming inside. There was a rat in the toilet. Have you ever seen this happen?
I've never seen it happen, but I know that it does.
So let me tell you something. So she's freaking out, and there's a rat in the toilet, and I don't even know how it got there because the front door had been closed the entire time.
Was it a live rat?
Mm-hmm. It was a live rat.
So they will swim up through the sewer lines.
So these guys are excellent. They're like scuba Steves. So this rat, I didn't know what to do, and I even feel bad about it this day. But what I did is I threw the lid down and I flushed it. And I said, if he can swim up, he can swim down. And honestly, downstream swimming is so much easier already. And there's a lot of momentum coming with the flush. And got rid of it. But still very spooky to have happen. And then a couple days go by, and I go to use the restroom, and it's back. Another rat is in the toilet alive, and she wouldn't let me flush it. You know,
I felt
bad.
Guilty after the
Right.
first one.
So I had to.
It was already down there in the first place.
It was what I said.
Well, but then we took a picture to send to the landlord.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
You're jumping and I don't mean, and here's the thing, I'm not trying to cut you off or even step over you. But here's what I do want to say. A few more days go by. And then, was it me or you?
Was the rat living in the toilet the whole time?
I didn't even think about that. I didn't check. I didn't check underneath to see if it had some sort of structure that it had built. Okay, but anyway, a few days later have passed, and so I take the second one out. The second one, I get Betty Crocker salad tongs, like for tossing salads, and I put a rubber band around it so it had like a snapback kind of thing, so I could grab it. And then I took it outside and I gave it some peanut butter. But then, so a few days later come by, and it's back again. Another rat is alive. And it's because they're crawling up the pipe.
The one that you said went to the roof.
To the roof.
There was no
cap
seal on ours. So they were jumping in through the roof.
And falling down the pipe.
Said.
And then getting into the toilet and then swimming up through to try to come say hello. It's not what you want to see when you're trying to sit down.
I can't imagine.
No.
Yeah.
And it sticks with you.
It sticks with you for a while. It doesn't make you comfortable to sit on the toilet.
When you are sitting on the toilet, you're constantly not watching your back, but watching
your ass.
Yeah.
Because these things are they were relentless. 3 in a week or something like that. It was too many. And it made me think of what else can get down here because, squirrels aren't much bigger. And if I saw a squirrel down there, I would be even more scared than if I saw a rat. And that's the truth. And if I saw a snake, I would be also concerned. But there's just anything that really go down there. Mm-hmm. So we had to get that thing capped. But you haven't experienced that.
I've never seen it now.
Well, that's because you've been blessed with people who have capped your pipes.
Also, again, he does the laying of the pipe.
You gotta lay the pipe.
And he doesn't deal with.
That's true. You've moved past it. You're beyond it, really. Wouldn't you say? You don't have to deal with small animals. You just deal with alive ones that are humans that are also working on a house that you're building as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. And that just is and that just goes to show you that you really never know what you're going to get when you sign up for the job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Absolutely. But you do deal
That's
with
great.
animals in other ways. You had a bear encounter or two.
Oh my God, the bear
goodness.
encounter. That was
Yes.
just insane.
On one of my hikes. Couple of my hikes.
Couple
of hikes.
Have you considered posting that and I would love to hear that story again, but have you considered posting your video on like YouTube? I feel like
The
that
video
would
of the
really
bear?
blow up.
Or what video?
Yeah.
Yeah, the video of the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great video. I think that would do well. And so you're hiking and you're out here with these bears and you have this GoPro. Is this strapped to your noggin, to your head?
Actually, I think the GoPro was clipped to my
Kind of your heart. Oh, to your pack. Got it. Okay.
Correct.
And you have that so in case you see bears or for like kind of like a last video for
I was
like
just recording the hike.
just recording the hike.
Yeah, it was a
Just
2-day hike.
oh, it was a 2-dayer.
Yeah, I went out.
Where was this?
camped. It is on the sunrise side of Mount Rainier.
Oh wow. Okay, so that would be the eastern side. For those of you who don't know, it would actually be on the eastern side.
There's a side of the mountain called Sunrise, and there's a side of the mountain called Paradise, and I was on the sunrise side.
And that's exactly what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna let the listeners know was actually that it's because of that was the name of the side of the mountain.
It's also on the eastern side of the mountain.
And because it happens to be on the eastern side of the mountain, which is probably where
So you weren't wrong.
Was probably where the name came from, being on the eastern side. Or maybe they were Easterners who had made their way and they liked the way the sunrise. I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Yeah, I wasn't there for the naming.
Yeah, but you hiked on it.
I did hike on it. So I hiked up.
And Mount Rainier is in Idaho. It's in
Washington.
It's in Washington. Okay, yes.
Right next to Idaho.
Right next to Idaho. Yes, that's what I was getting it confused with.
It's actually on the opposite side of the state of Washington.
Mount Rainier.
300 miles from Idaho.
So okay, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it was on the
I was thinking that it was not on the Idaho side.
Far from Idaho.
Yeah, so it's more on the Pacific side. It's more on the yeah. Okay. I'm just doing that for a lot of our listeners they're really kind of from all over, but for those who aren't based kind of in the Pacific Northwest or Seattle area, I just wanted to kind of let them know that it is not near Idaho and it is actually on the opposite side.
Correct.
Great. So you're hiking over there on the sunny side, and it's a 2-day hike.
2-day hike.
So are you sleeping
in? Yeah, I have
in an RV, or what are you doing?
No, I have a tent and a sleeping bag.
So you're pitching, okay.
I'm pitching a tent.
Yeah.
And on my way in, a gentleman was coming up the trail and told me that there was a bear up ahead, and I asked him where it was. And
now,
so
what's your first thought when someone says there's a bear ahead? What, just going through your mind as an American plumber, what goes through your brain?
This was about to be my second encounter with a bear. So the first one, I was a little bit more nervous, but I was not nervous at this point.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so the first one kind of ripped the Band-Aid off for you.
I guess kind of, yeah. It's, and I had seen them even before in like national parks, like Glacier National Park, where and there's a crowd of people taking pictures of them, and
they're on YouTube too. You can even see them on
yeah.
YouTube.
And so I don't know. Some people call me crazy, but I just wasn't entirely nervous.
Well, no disrespect, but it does sound a little crazy, and I'm not trying to. I mean, nothing negative by that.
So
well, and can I just say that when the man tells you there's a bear up ahead, how you responded was, I thought, quite unique.
Yeah, I was excited to see him.
I think you said something like awesome or something like that.
I did. I said awesome.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
And I asked him where he was at, and he said he's just off the trail around the corner, like straight in front of me. So I went, and I was prepared. I started getting to be honest, I got my phone out.
Okay. God, you want to make sure and capture the moment.
But I do have I have a weapon, and I have a bear spray.
What kind of weapon are you using? Are you bringing sword, or what do you bring to a bear fight?
Actually, the gun that I bring is
the gun. It's not a sword at all.
It's a 9mm. It's probably not even strong enough to do anything to a bear.
Just maybe scare it with the noise or something.
Hopefully.
Or would it actually make you look really cool holding it?
Potentially. I've never even taken it out.
Well, it's better to keep it in the holster, I guess, as a safety precaution.
But I do have the bear spray. I guess that stuff is pretty effective. But again, I've never used it. I just yell and scream at them, and they run away. Yeah.
Well, there was some yelling and screaming in the video. And there was, you did some kind of karate with your hiking helpers, your sticks. Did you do some sort of karate?
I banged them together.
That's what I mean by that. Yeah, right. That's what it seemed like. Yeah, it seemed like something I'd learned in karate. So
I've never taken.
I studied. I made it up. Karate.
It's just karate.
Karate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it depends on how you're right. It does depend on how you say it. Like go to bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Karate.
Question
I took
about,
it. I was a yellow belt.
Were you a yellow belt?
I was a yellow belt with a white stripe, and.
It sounds like
And I could have continued. I just didn't feel like I wasn't feeling passionate about it. And I really kind of absorbed all the techniques that I was going to need to kind of help me through life and stuff. So I recommend it for everybody. I took it when I was about 8 or 9. So continue.
So the bear mace. Wait, did you call it bear mace, or did you call it
bear spray?
Bear spray. So do you test it regularly to see that it's still working and it hasn't expired?
But how do you test it?
Well, I have a horrible story about that if you want to hear that.
I'd love to hear that.
But I don't test it, no. You just keep it.
I happen to have, I think
bear
it
mace might have an expiration date on it.
Okay.
But I don't know. I've never really looked at mine.
Okay. Maybe you could look at mine before you.
There's got to be some sort of way you test. Maybe what you do is you spread it in a paper bag and then you breathe in the bag or something.
You're not going to want to do that.
No?
That goes along with my story.
Oh, okay. Well, please, tell us your story.
So
here.
I was on a hike and I was going. It was after I had encountered the the first bear actually.
Was this up in Washington near Rainier?
It was in the same general area.
Same area,
but other side of the mountain.
Okay.
And
Paradise. Would you say Paradise?
Actually, halfway between. So it was about a quarter of the way around the mountain.
Okay.
Anyway, I had gone up this really steep incline or was in the middle of going up a really steep incline, and my pack was full of water. I had just made water, and
what do you mean just made water?
Filtered water from a
like
stream,
from a river.
Yeah,
that's
and you
kind
probably
of
had to pump it.
the most original way.
I have a water filter.
Okay.
And I had filled up my backpack, and it was getting really heavy. So I decided that I knew I could make more water up at the top, and so I dumped all my water out, and while I was eating lunch. Then I finally got up to the top, and I took my pack off to rest, and I laid against my pack, and I heard this awful spraying noise, and I turned around this way to see what was going on, and my bear spray canister had started spraying, and it shot me right in the face.
Oh no.
Yeah. And as soon as I felt the cold wetness of the spray, and I said, "Oh fuck."
Oh no.
And then I could start feeling the heat, and it was bad. And I had about, I don't know, 2 inches of water left in my water bottle was all I had to flush my face.
Fuck.
So I splashed it on my face, and that was it.
Did it go away that quickly?
Negative.
Okay.
No,
I feel like that would just make it worse. I think you're supposed to pour milk on your face.
I think that's just for salsa.
Oh, is it just for salsa?
I don't know. It might work.
Well, well, we don't know because we haven't tried.
I haven't tried. So I do all of my hikes. I do alone. I like to hike solo. Just kind of
Kind of get out there and connect with nature.
Yeah, it's
Meditative.
It's my mental health.
It's your mental health.
And
I love that.
So I was alone, and so I had to wait for somebody to come. I had passed somebody on the trail a while back, and I didn't know which direction they were going. So I was laying on the trail. I probably looked like I was praying to Allah, because I was like on my knees
praying to Allah.
Just
with
my hands over my face, and it hurt very bad.
Are you yelling and moaning, or are you keeping that in?
I was moaning, probably grunting a little.
People are thinking that you're just probably having just such an emotional day.
Water was pouring out of my eyes and nose and mouth.
So were your
everything.
eyes open when you
I turned and looked? Yeah.
Yes, you got it in the eyes.
Oh, you got it in there.
Eyes, yeah. And
did it affect the way you're breathing? Because your breathing, I would imagine, would be probably messed up.
It was just, I just had to stay focused on what
being
was
alive,
going on,
which is just
and
being
waiting
alive.
for someone. Then a group of people came down the trail and asked me if I was okay, and I said I was not. And they had a bunch of extra water, so they dumped water on my face.
Oh, whoa! Like little angels.
I took my shirt off, was full of spray. I couldn't wear that any longer, and just had to wait for it to go away. It finally did subside, and I was able to start walking back on the trail to where I needed to go.
Wow.
But
how long was it kind of not making you feel well?
Well, I think it was like 20 minutes that I was waiting for someone to show up. I have really no recollection of how much time went by.
I feel like maybe it may
felt
stop
like hours.
time.
But all of that water that they poured, that eventually started?
That eventually helped.
You? Okay.
And then the people that I had passed earlier that I was waiting for, they ended up showing up just about the same time as the people coming the other direction. And they offered to walk with me to where I was going to set up my next camp.
Oh, so you weren't even going home at this point?
No,
This was day one?
This was day 2 of a 3-day.
Of the 3-day.
And I had to get to camp and set up and relax, and
God, that's rough.
It was rough. It sucked, and everything tasted like bear spray from that point on, because
everything just had a little kick to it.
It was horrible.
God.
And I'm guessing your face is super red at this point. Like, what does it do to your skin? Is it?
I don't know. I don't have a mirror on my hikes.
You should though, because that way you kind of know that you're looking good and presentable for just the passerbys.
That's true. I don't know. I'm sure it was probably some sort of irritated.
Like your eyes weren't trying to like be closed, were they? Like were they swelling shut at all?
Yeah. I think I had to go about 3 more miles to where I was setting up camp. And at the beginning I was doing a lot of blinking. I couldn't, my eyes were irritated, but it eventually went away.
Wow.
You see a bear and then you're just fucked because you have no more bear spray.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah,
I was like, well, shoot, I just shot myself in the face with bear spray. So right now I don't have anything to protect.
So is it just a one and done?
They are a one and done.
They are.
They're a one and doneer.
Yeah. If you open them and you spray them, they eject, like some of them empty. I believe it says like 1 second or something. It's just a second or 2 seconds.
Wow, you've got to
be
be very.
You have to be a good shot.
Well,
and you need to have 100 cans at you.
It's like wide.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of
like a shotgun.
It's like a projectile. Yeah. Well, kind of like a wide angle projectile bear spray, you could say. A wide angle projectile spray.
It's a lot to put on a can.
But a powerful can nonetheless.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Was this like kind of was this like Gorilla Grizzly spray? Because Gorilla it's a really good company. They make like the best wood glues and super glues and stuff.
They also make.
No, I'm wondering, is this a Gorilla, is this a brand that you're using? Does Gorilla make bear spray? That's what I want to know. That's my question.
I think they're more in the adhesive business.
Okay. Well, God, it would be great if they did, because then it would be just another thing for them to be really great at.
But all of this outdoor stuff, that is your mental health.
It is.
So you do that for this is great because how often are you going out for your mental health? Be honest, please.
I go out on weekend hikes. Like I'll do a day hike probably once a month. Mm-hmm. I try to go once a month. Mm-hmm. The 3-day, the longer hikes, I do at least 2 a year.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of the times it happens in the springtime, because going through the winters up in the Pacific Northwest is just, it's kind of brutal. It's gray and rainy.
It's very depressing. It makes you kind of want to kill yourself, and I hope that people don't.
Right. And so that's kind of what happened with me. Is I went through a big section of my life where I was pretty depressed, and I tried the antidepressants and I didn't like how they made me feel.
Maybe like mentally,
mentally.
What would they do
foggy, to you? Well, they didn't make me feel better.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's kind of the
go-to.
It
was just a fog.
Right.
They didn't make me feel like I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel like myself again. I wanted to feel like alive. And that's just, I wasn't getting there. So I decided to start doing these solo hikes.
Oh, wow.
And going out and getting with nature and being alone and reflecting on what it is that might be bothering me. And that's how I decided that hiking was
amazing.
Was my deal.
When was that about?
That was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Have you ever done one of those like the Pacific Crest Trail, like for like weeks or?
That is a bucket list of mine.
Oh, I bet.
It starts in Mexico, 2,562 miles, I believe it is, all the way to the border of Canada.
Where would you want to do the whole thing?
I would want to do the whole thing.
Wow.
It's a 5 month. It's a 5 month hike.
5 months of. Think of how much bear mace you would need to bring for that, especially if you're accidentally setting them off.
I would hopefully not.
You would need to bring 5 months worth, really.
Well, but you do the thing like where you
mail yourself a box of spray.
Right. I would like
gear.
to do that,
Or
but
gear.
maybe like a week. So I don't know where I would start and where I would stop.
I would want to definitely be on the nicer parts. Maybe where there's going to be definitely some sun, definitely some shade with some. I'd love to see a creek. I'd love to see some water there too.
So you start down in, on the Mexican border of Southern California, and you hike all the way up through. I mean, you hike through the desert until you get to, I don't know, probably about the Tahoe area.
Right.
And then you start getting into trees, and
I feel like the desert.
That's a long time in the
That
desert.
desert would get me.
That's
that desert
like
would
40 days.
and 40 nights.
sounds biblical.
It does. And
it
that
feels biblical when you talk about it.
Yeah.
Right.
And what a great movie it was. 40 Days, 40 Nights.
Yeah.
Just a classic. Anyway, it does remind me of the desert. And not having sex for 40 days and 40 nights reminds me of the desert. That's exactly what it reminds me of. Just dry, desolate, and lifeless.
So what sort of, like, would you be ready for that now? Or do you have to prepare? Do you have to
Look at the guy. He's
train?
physically ready for really anything.
You look like you're ready for it.
So I don't know. I keep myself in pretty decent shape.
Are you going to the facility to exercise your body?
I don't go
So
to
you're
a gym.
so you're just-
a lot of it is from work. I go up and down stairs all day long at work.
Right.
And then I go home and I do some stretching. I do some yoga.
You do yoga?
You're doing yoga for your mental health.
I do yoga.
Does that, yeah, is it exercise and mental health?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of it's the stretching, but I do love the relaxation. And
I love that.
I just got a book from, at the Grand Canyon. I just got a book from, well, his name was something Swami, but he looked like a guru.
With the name
He was
Swami, you
selling books.
you definitely have
And,
to look like one.
Talking about the mudras
Yeah.
that you were talking about.
She was-
Anyway,
Yes.
yeah, I was actually trying those on my hikes
Oh, that's
the
awesome.
other day.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So
Did you notice a difference? Did you notice anything?
I didn't.
But
I was
you-
trying.
you
I
were
was
trying.
focusing, and I was. So I guess mentally, not physically, I didn't notice anything, but mentally, it did help me focus on something other than walking alone in the dark.
Eaten
And
by
I think that
bears
is a
and
big
stuff.
part of it. Like, that's why they're helpful in meditation.
It's
'cause
something
you are
to focus.
focused
Something to
on-
focus on.
Yeah. I think it's part of it.
Wow.
But that's very cool.
That's super fascinating.
I feel
Wow,
like
so
there's
you-
like a Swami
Oh, there might be.
Satchinanda book over there. Does that
Oh,
name
there
sound
is.
familiar? Is that one of them? I know there's like a few
don't. There's
Swamis,
a
right?
I think there
I
might
know.
be a
That's
whole
a-
country of Swamis, to be honest. Over there's probably a bunch of them.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's.
You'd have to. Especially if it's anything like naming the Balinese, which we've learned in a previous episode, that it really has nothing to do with really kind of how is this name going to pop. It's more of just, well, you're a poor person or you're middle class or whatever, and you're the third born. So maybe it's something like that over there.
Well, we should just move on because we can't go back to the.
Well, we can't go back into
Bali.
other episodes, but I'm saying that it could be like a Swami something or another. And it could be because his father's a peasant.
I feel like it's like a spiritual.
I'd like it to be.
Title.
I would, and
Don't you get that?
I would like it
I
to
think
be.
it's a
Yeah.
spiritual title.
I'd prefer for it to be a spiritual title over anything because just that's a better place to be, and just a better place to be living. Really, more at peace.
Amen.
Amen to that, and Allah to that as well. For really everybody, just to kind of connect to all the cultures.
Well, that's religion, but sure.
Sure.
Connect
yes.
all the religions.
Connect
I guess you
all
would
of
say.
well, I'd like to connect them all. Well, we're all connected, really. Isn't that something? Which is kind of in a way that religion is kind of connected in all forms through us humans. And how beautiful is that? That us human beings, us these kind of soul spirits on this earth, that we're just kind of mixing everything together and educating each other. I think is really beautiful.
You would think we had begun the motivational speech of the day.
Well, not yet, because we haven't even done a Mischa's Learn stuff yet.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. It's like he goes so in depth.
That was very deep.
Thank you so much. Well, here's the thing. Here's what I will say. There have been times on this podcast where I've been a little fiery, and it's just something that happens. You know, sometimes I get a little worked up, and I just want people to know that I am at peace.
and love. And that's all I want to say. There are times where I'll probably be a little activated, but right now I'm just feeling kind of really connected and at peace. And I just think that's something on the podcast, on something in my podcast. I just like to communicate. Just we're here being vulnerable. You're talking about hiking and all this stuff, and you're my wife and my queen, my love, and I just got to be honest with the listeners.
And I think it's a good idea because I do think, and Bryon, I don't know if you've picked up on this, but our dog is dreaming right now.
See, this is what I was. This is one of the one of the things I was concerned about because I know that she can be distracting to you sometimes.
Well, I'll move on.
And she is dreaming, and here is what I will say. It is adorable, and just look at her, Bryon. Look at her if you will. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but and for all you listeners out here, and all you heavy bangers, she is adorable. Continue.
What was I saying?
You asked me if I had picked up on something.
See, this is what I was concerned
right.
about.
Had you picked up on a little bit of aggression coming from Lance toward me at any point that made you feel like, well, maybe he is abusive in any way?
Today?
Just in general,
in general.
Not in the abusive way.
Okay.
At all.
Okay.
Like physically abusive,
or even mentally.
Okay, well that's good. Okay, good to know.
So we just wanted to make sure that there has been a
handful or two
who thought maybe Lance was
hitting Mischa. And here's the thing. I don't hit her physically ever. And I will never punch her physically ever. And that's what I will say.
I have seen a few of the podcasts, and it's I like how you deal with it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's
it doesn't
very
seem
sweet to say.
You've seemed irritated. I have yet to experience any rooster.
The rooster was actually...
He was here before you got here. He was talking, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
He was...
I just missed the rooster.
Mm-hmm.
He was crowing moments before you came in. And I don't say moments to really emphasize the point, but it was moments before you came in.
Yeah, sometimes you seem a little activated.
But
not in an abusive way.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Because we do talk about mental health.
It's so important.
Is there something that you could share for Lance?
Do you get activated? Do you ever get activated yourself?
I do get activated.
You do. And what do you do when you get activated? What's your go-to?
So I have learned something called, see if I can say this right, rational emotive behavioral therapy.
Jesus Christ, that sounds intense.
A lot of words.
That is
REBT for short.
Okay, and, easier to remember.
It's just a way to look at the situation and understand that my reaction doesn't need to be kind of the end all of what's going on. I need to look at what's going on, if I can control anything at all, and if I can't, I just need to move on.
And
it's almost like taking yourself out of the
equation.
Out of this equation a little bit.
And what helps you to move on once you've determined that there's nothing you can do about it?
Sometimes I have to constantly keep telling myself that there's nothing I just can't.
Until you completely even remember
it. And yeah, I don't know.
Rational emotive
behavioral therapy.
Wow, that's fascinating.
I wish I could break it down a little bit further, but
well, no, because sometimes
you practice it.
Yeah, you just. I think that's because a lot of times I'm such like an emotional, reactive person that a lot of times I almost need the buffer time to then take myself out of the situation before I continue, because I'm like, sometimes I'm just 0 to 60. Right. And that's not even that fast as far as cars go, because I know a lot of them are even going quicker nowadays. It's really 60 is not even that fast. But as a human being, 0 to 60 is pretty quick if you're going 0 to 60.
It's like the Twilight vampires.
It's like the Twilight vampires, and it's like regular vampires even too. Some that don't even aren't even Twilight specific, but it is like that.
So I feel like that would probably be better for me to practice, I guess, is something like that. Something where I'm taking a moment. You're taking a moment, right? You're activated, and then you're conscious enough to take a moment.
Right. You realize that you're getting activated.
You're getting there. You're climbing the mountain of activation.
And you cut it off before you have a chance to get too upset.
Got it.
And meditation really helps.
I was just going to ask you, are you doing something else that keeps that, like,
God, your mental health.
I feel like that is it's easier for you to access that tool because you're doing something else. So you're meditating.
I do. I have just a free meditation app on my phone.
What's it called? Is it
Insight Timer?
Insight Timer. I've heard of this one. I have.
Yeah. And I'll take it just depends on what's going on, but I'll go down into my basement and I'll just lay on the floor with the lights off.
Yep.
And do whatever. Sometimes I do
like guided.
Sometimes I'll do a guided meditation. Sometimes I'll do chakra music.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I'll do Tibetan bowls.
Oh, I'm into the Tibetan bowls. Yeah, we got one of those in the room over there.
Nice.
Yeah, that stuff is good. God.
Yeah, I just switch it up, whatever my heart leads me to do, and I usually listen to what's going on in my head to guide me into what I need to fix it.
So how did you find this? How did you find all this good stuff? All this stuff for your brain and stuff. And your soul.
Just searching for, because growing up, I was a bit of a reactive person. I had a big temper problem.
Okay.
I used to...
In respect to that.
And I would... a lot of my coping mechanism would relate back to drugs and alcohol. And trying to get some of that out of my life and to live a little bit better was searching ways to help myself become a little bit more clear. And my mother-in-law introduced me to a bunch of different Eastern philosophy. I do a lot of looking into Native American cultures and how they process things.
That stuff is fascinating.
I just like to open myself up to as many different philosophies as I can. I'm a Christian. That's kind of like my main philosophy that I believe. But I accept all of these other different ways because there can't be just one.
Right, you're not closed off.
Yeah.
So you like identify as a Christian, but someone who also practices a little bit of everything almost.
Yeah, I mean, I go to church almost every Sunday. I mean, I'm in a ministry, a motorcycle ministry.
Are you in a motorcycle ministry?
I am in a
Tell us
ministry.
about that. That
No
just sounds
kidding.
fun.
So it's pretty fun. It's called Crossroads. We just started up out of our church in Puyallup. Right now, we're kind of in a phase 1 situation where we're just getting to know each other and reaching out. One of our outreach programs right now is we meet up at a kind of a halfway house in Tacoma, and we go up there on our bikes, and we have jackets and patches, and we just go out there and hang out with the guys.
Oh, wow.
We know the situation that they've been in. A lot of us have been in similar situations, and we just hang out and share our experience. And
the halfway house is it's fully built.
It's a fully built home.
It's fully built, so
Correct.
it's full of people who are currently using or not currently using are clean.
The requirement to be in the program is that they need to be clean. There are people that are either coming off of the streets or just coming out of prison or any kind of situation where they need to coming off of a pretty bad drug problem.
They need a safe zone.
They need a safe place to be.
I see
That's
you
super
almost as Johnny Cash going to the prisons to perform.
Oh wow!
You know,
yes.
because like you're going there, you're offering this service because the service is like your gift of.
And the service is just out of the craziest thing about the service is that it's just coming straight out of the inside of your heart.
Exactly.
That's the craziest.
But
thing.
also he's on a bike with leather and patches.
Hey, but you know that I told you about the bike. I've always wanted to get the bike. Here's the thing. Have you been hit? I hope that you haven't been hit.
Have you been in the motor? I want a motorcycle so bad, but I
was forced off the road one time.
You were forced off the road, that asshole.
I have a couple of things.
To an
I wasn't
American
going very
hero.
fast.
Unbelievable. You were going.
I wasn't going very fast.
Okay, well that's good. Just
It did hurt.
You're being precautious. Oh, you went off of the bike.
I got pushed into a
Oh.
curb, and
Oh.
it made me wreck my bike.
Oh.
Nothing happened to my bike too bad, but
Gosh, I feel like I would probably be activated after that.
I was activated.
Yeah.
And it obviously could have been worse,
Yes.
which is terrifying.
Glad that
This
it
is
didn't.
why he wants to do. We live in like a bike in Los Angeles, of all places. We watched a guy
Yeah, this is
get
crazy.
hit on his bike, and then we were at a light, did not know where the heck that guy went. The car behind us must have known him because she got out of her car, started running to his bike screaming, and then she's doing this, looking around, and then he's like, what,
20 yards.
Yeah.
20 yards away from his bike.
And when we
He
passed
got
him,
really hit.
And then
He got
sat up.
hit.
And then sat
well,
up.
no, he never sat up. He was on his back with the soles of his feet were on the ground. and
That's what it
knees
was.
were
His
up.
knees were up.
So he was like talking, but he was not sitting up.
He was a big guy too, like probably like 200 something pounds, like 250 maybe even. I mean kind of like a little of a heavier set guy.
And another time, I did something wrong. I didn't realize how quickly
remember
this
this.
motorcycle was coming on the side, and I moved over into that person's lane. And then he came over to my window, and he said, "Are you fucking retarded?"
And were you acting stupid or retarded or whatever?
I made an error in judgment.
Okay. Did you
But no,
apologize?
I'm not.
Did you say
I didn't even have time. He was very activated.
Okay. Well, you should.
As
It's
you can
almost
imagine.
worth it just having your high school diploma kind of in your car, so you can let people know that maybe you graduated, or I don't know, something to
Well,
let people know.
But the point is that it just seems so scary. And I don't, knock on wood, because
And I'm gonna
you're
knock on
doing
it.
this.
So in Washington, they can't ride in the middle of the lanes like they do in Southern California.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I do sometimes,
Well,
You
you're
do.
a bit of a badass.
but I've even noticed around here just driving that it's
Oh, they're like free reign out here.
they'll come squirreling up behind you really fast.
So you honestly are making me feel a little bit better about my error in judgment. We all make errors.
We do. And if anything, we know that you have on this podcast as well.
Like I ride motorcycles. I ride mine almost every day to work, and even down here, I'm paying attention. And sometimes, like I haven't cut anybody off yet, but they freak me out sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Well, that's
I'll
kind of
just-
cool. So maybe I guess if we
And
were
when
to,
you're on a motorcycle, you're hyper alert.
'Cause
for
you're
sure.
so vulnerable.
Right.
yeah, you're aware of everything. You're not like changing the station on your car. You're not sending a text message. You're just trying to stay alive on the thing.
We're just having fun, but yeah.
Having fun at the same time as staying alive.
Does your wife have any
She hates it.
reservations? She
She
hates it.
hates
Okay.
it.
She
See, I get
absolutely-
that.
I can't believe she said yes to me buying it.
So how did she
Wow.
say yes if she hates it so much because she
I
loves
don't
you
know. I
so
asked her and
much?
she said yes. I didn't even have to fight about it. I was actually taken back.
Oh, wow.
I was prepared for an argument and I didn't get to do one.
You almost
Yeah.
had to just have the argument for just the sake of having the argument because you had worked up for it.
I said, "Can I buy this motorcycle?" And she said yes. And I said,
Well, I want to have it. You can't. I'm going to do what I want to do.
"So."
And she's like, well, yeah, you can. And you're like, well, no, fuck you. I'm going to get it. I don't know. I
Right.
don't mean to yell either.
I
Was
didn't.
this after, had you guys had maybe like a long stint of really not getting along, and then she was
No.
like, yeah, go ahead and get the bike?
It was the fact that I needed to have something a little bit more fuel efficient for commuting,
Okay.
and that's what I wanted. And she said yes.
And what kind of bike do you have?
I have a Harley Sportster.
Oh, it is a Harley.
So,
It is a Harley.
so it's like one of the laid back kind
It's
of
a,
ones.
yeah, a little bit. It's not quite as big as some of the road.
Those
King or
those road hogs.
yeah,
Hogs.
but it's a nice little. vehicle.
Can you? But you guys get a lot of rain up there. Can you ride it in the rain?
We do. I don't.
Okay.
I can, but I don't.
Just be better. Not
I don't
to.
ride it from about September or October until May. Like the whole winter months, I don't ride it.
But it is fuel efficient.
It is fuel efficient.
They get great MPGs, and by miles per gallon is what I mean by that.
Right.
I picked that up too.
Okay. Well, just for other people who don't know, it's acronyms. We've been doing some acronyms today, and I was dropping one of my own.
Did our No.
Yep.
B.
Yep. REBTC.
Correct.
Yeah.
Got it.
Wow. Motorcycles.
Yeah.
God, I rode on one. My buddy has one down here. And he took me for a ride one time, and it was very scary because I was on the back side of it, so I'm just holding on to him, and I don't feel like I have very much control. And I remember when he got off, I asked him, "Hey, have you ever been hit by one of these before?" And he went, "Oh yeah, I've been hit a lot," which is crazy that he still even has it, because I wouldn't have it anymore if I'd been hit a lot.
No. But that is back to the what is the ministry? It's the motorcycle ministry. Crossroads ministry.
Yeah.
That's just really cool.
That is cool. What made you want to do that? Just to give back because you know how hard the struggle can be?
Yeah. I'm in just kind of a recovery program at the church, and a couple of the guys, we all showed up on our bikes one day, and one of the guy my buddy Tim that started, is kind of the leader, I guess, if you will. He'd been thinking about this ministry for a long time, and it just kind of all fell into place. And he said, "We're going to do this," and asked if I wanted to be a part of it, and I did. And
yeah, it's like a dream come true. Be a biker gang. Yeah, I've been waiting for it.
Right,
please,
and one where I don't have to run drugs or anything.
Right. And you didn't even need to probably bring chains because you're not hurting anybody.
Correct.
God, that's got to feel good. Just a biker gang of peace.
It's really nice.
That is really cool. Do you think you're the first of your kind?
No, there are a few others. There are a lot of others.
White males? What do you mean by that?
Motorcycle ministries.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
There's another one up near us called
Hell's Angels.
Different. No, they're different.
Those are different.
Shoot, I can't remember. Christian Bikers Association or something like that.
Okay.
So they have a group. There are a lot of probably other ministries, but we just have ours in our area. But
it's so cool.
Yeah. That is cool. So you guys do have the leathers and everything?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, we all have leather vests and
that's so badass.
Patches. We're working on different kinds of
like logos,
maybe some different patches. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's badass.
Because do you have your own? That's like this is your like your sign or?
Yeah, we have our own patch, which is
what is it?
Your logo.
Designates us. Yeah, it has our logo.
Okay. It's your logo. Did you guys come up with it together? Or was it already made?
Tim pretty much came up with it, and we all agreed on it. It's a cross with a knight kneeling at the foot of the cross.
Oh yeah, that is cool. That's super cool. That reminds me, there's this. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you go first.
Well, I'd like you to speak first.
I would like you to go first.
Well, I'll speak first because I am the man. What I will say is that there's this bar over here and that was just a sexist joke, just so everyone knows. We're just poking fun over here at Heavy Bangs. What I will say is that there's a bar over here where it's actually in North Hollywood, and it's like a biker gang bar. I went in there one time. I was doing they had like an open mic in there, and the bartender was just this young chick or whatever. And as the night, because I had stayed there after the mic had ended and continued to drink because I was having an issue, I guess, with alcohol. And this biker gang came in, and like I don't know what they were doing, but they just went behind the bar and were like doing things with money given. And what I had heard is, oh no, these people actually like they kind of take care of this place, so they're like kind of on their own mission as well.
But probably not a Christian ministry.
But different, probably. I mean, I don't know. I didn't specifically, but I didn't notice the patches specifically what they were. So it could have been, but I got the feeling that maybe they worked for the devil.
I watched a cool Hell's Angels documentary years ago. And the part that this is going to sound really random, but the part that stands out the most to me was that heavy metal thunder, and when they say, Gosh, what's the song?
Oh, I wish you would. Is you talking about AC/DC?
No.
Thunder Roll.
No.
That was another one. I don't know.
Garth Brooks.
Oh, man.
God, Garth is good.
Oh, gosh. Oh, we're going to have to move on.
Oh, no, look it up if you will.
Okay. All right.
So anyway, what's happening right now, basically my co-host she's looking up information to tell you guys.
The thing is it's just not going to be what you hope.
But this is kind of the joys of having the laptop here readily in her lap. She's able to look up information. It's kind of like we have a producer here on the podcast.
Well, you are looking that up, that halfway house.
Yeah, the halfway house.
Yeah, they the church services are operated at a place called Christian Biker Tabernacle. And
what does tabernacle mean? Be honest. What does that mean?
Tabernacle?
What is that?
I believe that's like a, I don't know.
It sounds like a
church.
Like
I feel like that's
a
the
temple.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's kind of what I always thought it to be.
Tabernacle is that what that meant? I thought it was like a fishing lure. It sounds like a fishing lure. Oh, will you hand me that tabernacle? I got to jimmy up my rig here.
No, that's not it.
But kind
So
of
anyway, one of the
Place of worship.
Okay.
Place of worship.
Got
Perfect. It was started by an ex-Hells Angel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He no longer wanted to be in the life and
Right.
started a
Oh,
bike
wow.
shop /
That's incredible.
little Christian place of worship.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I would imagine that isn't probably a great lifestyle being in the old angels and the hells ones. Probably a lot of probably violence and sin, so to speak. That's what I'll say about that. That's pretty cool. I would definitely probably want to not be in that one as well. What are you looking up, Mischa?
I'm sorry. I hope you can't hear. Can you hear all the clicking?
You can't hear any of the typing here.
Thank you. Born to be Wild. You know the song.
Oh,
Born to be Wild.
Okay.
And who's that by? Just so, because I think if you say the song, you have to say the artist.
Steppenwolf.
Steppenwolf?
Yeah.
Steppen?
Steppenwolf. One word.
Steppen?
Steppen. Yeah, I don't know that it's.
Steppen? Or are you saying steppen like stepping in mud?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay, just making sure.
Spelled differently, but.
Oh, it is spelled different.
But the same word that you're looking at.
Okay.
You're thinking of, yeah.
Okay, Steppenwolf.
But it's not. But not like it's not like it's all one word. It's just Steppenwolf.
It's all one word.
Yeah. Steppe wolf.
See, now it makes sense to me. Before I thought it was a Stefan kind of spelling.
So you're familiar with the lyrics? I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder. No?
No, how does the song go? Can you sing it though?
I don't want to.
But if you sing it, I'll be able to hear it better, and probably Bryon will be able to hear it better as well.
So, I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder. No, born to be wild.
See, what is the lyric again?
I like smoking lightning.
I like smoking lightning. And what is the other one?
Heavy metal thunder.
Heavy metal thunder.
That's not it. That's not. That's not how he does it.
Heavy metal thunder. How does he do it then?
Well, but that's not the point.
Well, okay. It'd be nice to be able to have it down at the pace that the song is saying.
I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder.
Okay, so that's how I went. I went up. Heavy metal thunder. And then he goes, born to be wild.
Born to be wild.
That's what I just.
But I know, but you did it in the wrong. You're not.
Born to be wild.
Don't you know the song?
Yes, it's on 101 Dalmatians. It's in the movie.
What?
Look it up really quick. Look it up for the listeners.
Okay.
Look, see if this song. Have you seen 101 Dalmatians?
No.
The cartoon one.
Well, I don't.
You haven't seen, but you have kids.
Maybe. I probably have seen it, but I don't recall the song.
Okay, well, pull it up and see if Steppenwolf and 101 Dalmatians.
Okay.
Did you Google it?
I am right now. I'm not Googling it though. I'm DuckDuckGoing it.
Yeah, here's the thing, you guys. Google is not good, and Google is really it's filtering your searches just to let you guys know. They're filtering what they want you to be reading. So honestly, just switch to DuckDuckGo for your own privacy.
Look, I don't see that as a thing, so I don't want to waste too much time.
Well, for any of our listeners who have seen 101 Dalmatians, any of them, any of the live actions, any of the animated, if you know that the song has been in there, please write us to the podcast to let us know for confirmation, because I'm 98% sure that it has been in the movie.
All I was trying to say about that song is that's that song is where they took the term. That's where they got the term for heavy metal music. And that was in that documentary about Hell's Angels, believe it or not.
Wow, a lot of full circles coming around.
You know, it wasn't it.
A lot of full circles
Small
coming
payoff,
around now.
but
I think is that time
it is
for a little education?
Yeah,
Don't you think?
Yep.
You know what it is.
Mischa learns stuff.
Bryon, are you ready to learn some stuff?
I am excited.
This is a very important. This is hands down the most important part of the show.
So I won't. I'm definitely going to try not to bore you guys.
Well, we'd like to not be bored, and we'd like to wrap this up.
But I think that you're sort of the perfect guest for some of this information because you are such an adventurist. So have you heard of Svalbard? It's a
German sausage.
It's
sounds like German.
one of the northernmost places you can go. It's north of Norway. It's like one of the Norwegian.
One of the most or the most?
Well, it has the northernmost liquor store, the northernmost cinema.
No disrespect, but I have to politely disagree. The furthermore, the North Pole is the northest you can go.
Well, there's not actually any land at the North Pole.
Well, there's no liquor stores because Santa doesn't drink, but I'm saying that the North Pole is definitely the farthest north you can go. Continue.
Okay. So Svalbard it's in the Norwegian archipelago of just way up there, little islands. And it is a very fascinating place. So I actually found out about it when I was sort of fantasizing about just running away from the world and thought, what countries could you live in if you wanted to? Because
you wanted to get away from it.
Yeah, like you can't just go to any old country and be welcomed.
Well, right now a lot of countries are going back into lockdown, so it's very kind of hard to travel right now.
But I'm talking about like you don't need a visa. It's a visa-free country. You can just live there. Or
well,
island.
That's very nice.
Island. It's part of Norway. It doesn't get you in the door to living in Norway if you just live in Svalbard for years.
But it does get you in a door.
But it does let you go to Svalbard. They will just let anybody live there willy-nilly.
Well, that's really great.
So that's how I found out about it. But these are some fun facts. You must carry a gun when you are not in one of the settlements. That is a law. You have to carry a gun because you have to have a means of scaring off polar bears.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So there are actual polar bears. They're real.
There's like a shit ton of them. There's a lot of polar bears up there. They mostly stay away from the settlements, but they do come into the settlements sometimes. They actually don't want you to have your guns, just out and about in the settlements. But outside of the settlement,
you have
to
them.
have it. And
they probably need to be loaded too.
I would think that. I mean, Bryon.
You typically don't carry an unloaded gun.
Okay, because some people do for, more for show.
That's foolish.
But that's more of an LA thing, I think, than anything.
Yeah, and this is so far from LA. Like I said, the northernmost.
Oh yeah, this place is
almost.
It's almost to the North Pole.
It is. It's like halfway between the North Pole and Norway. That's how north it is.
Yeah, that's and you can go farther north, but not much further past that. Because you would be at the North Pole.
Oh, right.
Right. So you have to carry a gun on you, and this isn't for people, this is for bears, and these are animals.
Correct. Yep.
Crazy.
It's maybe you guys know this, but it's actually classified as a desert.
That's because there's snow there?
It's all like, snow, ice on the ground, but it has very little precipitation. And it's just so dry. It's like almost as dry as like the hot deserts you think of. It's considered an Arctic desert, which I didn't even know that was the thing. You didn't know that?
You knew that?
I didn't know that.
Oh wow. See, I guess I can see it now when you say it, because I think of, a regular desert is full of sand, and sand is small and it moves around.
And snow is also small and it moves around.
Ice doesn't move around.
No, but
so
the ground of the desert below the sand doesn't. But the sand moves.
That's a good point.
So it is very similar. So I guess I see how it could be a desert, but an ice desert.
Yeah.
Well, that's fascinating.
It was for me.
I know I'm not even, and I think our listeners are also kind of thinking, wow, that is really juicy. What else do we have?
You are not allowed to die on Svalbard.
They don't allow it?
You can't die. You're gonna die. You need to head to the mainland because it is so cold there that bodies just won't decompose.
Well, how are they? Because they're just burying them in ice.
And they do have very small cemetery there that I think they stopped using in the 1950s. But they're worried that people could get like the flu from like some of the people who had died a long time ago, like that some of that would have been preserved.
Wow.
Because it's just that cold.
Wow. So really, if you're getting ready to if you're on your way out, you
need to then be on your way out.
You kind of have to like get your ducks in a row, and not even just like with a will and who's taking over what or like animals or whatever, but like you actually have to move yourself.
And similarly,
which isn't even an easy thing to do when you're an old person. And oh my God, and to think old people fall all of the time. They fall all the time, and then you're going to make them move on the stuff that is more slippery than regular floors? My grandmother fell down a couple of times.
Well, I don't know the age range.
But I'm saying, well, if you're dying, hopefully you're not dying young. And if you're going to die young, hopefully it's an accident that happens off of the island. But I'm saying it's just cruelty. It's cruel to make an elderly, respectable human being have to pack up their things and get on a bus somewhere.
Well, I think they probably have an idea. It's almost, think about it like when it's time for your grandparents to stop driving, and
I wish that would be kind of soon. No disrespect, because I would like to have that car. And my grandmother's going to give me this car when she stops driving, and it's a Subaru Baja. It's a 2006. It's a Subaru Baja. You know what I'm talking about by that? It's a truck one. They don't make them anymore. It's kind of a big deal. And she's going to give that to me before she passes, but after she's done driving.
So same kind of thing. You feel like it, maybe it's time to go back to Norway.
I'm wondering if maybe she should go to Svalbard.
Svalbard. So similar to the death thing, there's no circle of life. You also can't give birth there. So when
it's too cold for the baby to come out,
is
it because there's so much fluid that it's freezing over?
I don't know the reason for it. I just know that a few weeks before a woman's due date, they have her go back to the mainland.
We do not allow life to enter or exit on this island.
Yeah, the birth part I don't know about. I don't know why. The death part makes sense. They still won't decompose.
That makes perfect sense, but that just makes me think that the birth part is just because of the fluid. There's just a lot of fluid in a woman's body.
As you've talked about the fluid for sure.
Well, for sure, and we all are aware of it. We've actually all passed through it. That's the most beautiful thing about it.
That is beautiful.
Is that we've all experienced the same thing, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
This is a really cool one. Svalbard.
You're bringing heat, by the way. I'm not even trying to interrupt you.
This island does it for itself, really. You know what I mean? It's that interesting.
It's a standalone piece.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of the messenger. But a beautiful messenger in which I love and am spending my life with. Thank you. Continue.
They have a global seed vault in Svalbard that has almost 1 million seed samples from all over the world stored there. And they have room for like 4 times as much as that. And so basically the idea is if there's ever a terrible thing that happens all around the planet, just like utter destruction, they hold the seeds for potential renewal and rebirth of the world.
That's fascinating. Because seeds are really what life is, where life comes from. It comes from a seed inside of the penis, and then it meets inside of a vagina, and it makes a baby in there. And
seeds are existence as far as I'm concerned. So that's fascinating. So I guess if there's like really kind of a big war or something that kind of breaks out, then they'll destroy the earth. But what will happen in the process of it are these seeds will be dispersed into the soil?
Oh, I don't really know how that part would work out. But they have apparently, I think, maybe I think Syrians were able to use one of the seeds to, so like they have actually used a seed from this seed
And that's
vault.
how they made Syrians? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying that there's like some sort of a plant that Syrians brought back.
Oh, respect to them. And respect to people bringing plants back and bringing them into new places to be born and live and flourish.
I guess I'll just end on one.
Yeah.
Which is they don't allow cats.
And
So
respect to that sounds like a place that I would love to live.
they want to.
Would you love to live there? Do you like cats?
I have a cat.
You have a cat.
I do have a cat.
We have 2 cats, and I love them. I love them both. But I could imagine living on an island where there aren't cats could be fun too. And they probably don't have cats because of all the bears.
No.
Because cats don't like snow?
No, because they want to protect the local bird life
And respect
and
to
fauna.
that. Yep. And those are really kind of the most important ones. The birds. They've been here longer. It's more respect. You know, they've been here much longer than cats. Respect to cats, and I love them so much. It's that time. I think that time. What? Tell me about it. I'm not trying to rush
that time.
Is it that time?
It is that time, yeah.
Is it that time? Here we
I
go.
mean, shoot. Should we
Do you think?
Should we give it to
Maybe we should give it to
Ryan?
our guest.
Uh-oh.
to come up with a word for the
Oh, well, hold on a second. 'Cause
motivational?
Motivational speech of the day.
It's that time in the show, Brian.
Goodness, a lot of pressure.
Well, really, no pressure at all. Don't even overthink it.
Just a word, huh?
It's a word that is just meant to inspire and lift, and it doesn't even need to be really a word that brings joy. It could even just be
I was just thinking bike chain.
bike chain.
That's a good one.
Yes, it is a good one. Getting around is important. It really is. And a lot of automobiles today in the world are polluting the earth, and they're polluting it in a way of destruction, and in a way of which we will no longer be living on it anymore, and will be dead inside of the ground. Unless you're in Svalbard, then you will be you will not be dead in the ground over there. You'll be dead somewhere else, and I say all of that because it's just important to know how to get around, and pedaling is honestly riding a bicycle is like a very good way to do it. It's a very green way to be doing your due diligence as a American citizen. And there are actually a lot of Americans in the world today that are using bicycles, and they're pedaling them to places. And our guest even today, American hero Bryon McMurtrey, he uses his bicycle basically this is his motorcycle. But anyway, he has a bicycle. Do you have a bike?
I do have it.
Yeah, so our American hero, Bryon McMurtrey, he has a bicycle, and he even uses it. And he uses it how often do you use it?
I don't use it very often.
Okay, well, so he uses it on occasion. And here's what I want to say about it, is that as long as you're using it at all, that's all that matters. Because if you don't use it, the chances are it might not even be there anymore because it's stolen. And I've had this before. What's most important if you are kind of worried about getting around town and stuff, you have to roll up your right pant leg. Because if you're not rolling up your right pant leg, then there's a good chance it might get caught in the spoke, and then you have no pants. And we've all had that dream where we've been in school and we don't have any pants on, or we're naked, and it feels vulnerable and wrong. And here's what I'm telling you is to be vulnerable and to be wrong, to put that chain on, but lift that leg up at the same time, the pant leg, of course, and know that
whether you're a gay, straight, or a woman or a man, know that life does go on, and it will continue to pedal into the direction in which you are wanting it to be living. And when you drink enough water and you hydrate and you stretch enough before you begin this journey of life, you will be better prepared and better set up for it. And let yourself know that the mental health is a crucial factor in your exploration of this bicycle ride. And know that if you are meditating and you're having proper bowel movements, that this ride is going to be very easy to do for you. However, there are going to be uphills. But do not let the uphills distract you, because there's going to be downhills too. Because what must come up must also come down at the same time. It's just it's gravity. That's how it's just science, really. So for all my listeners today, thank you. I just want to say thank you for being French, for being German, or even being just an American person. Know that you are loved, and know that your life, even if it's just full of sin and garbage and maybe even malnutrition, that it will get better, and that you just have to keep pedaling, and really just not kind of just keep focused in on the destination, not so much the behinds, because there's always going to be traffic behind you and stuff. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to another episode of Heavy Bangs. This has been a very important episode, because we have American hero Bryon McMurtrey. Thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you
Thanks for
so
having me.
much.
It's been a pleasure.
So fun.
You made it so fun. That was so fucking cool.